Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing? Today we are going to be playing with the Beaute Tropical Vibes palette. I just wanted to play with this a bit more because the color story is so beautiful. So in this video I went ahead and did 3 different looks, and then at the end I'll kind of give you my thoughts, my review of this palette, how I'm feeling about it, whether I'd recommend it, all that jazz. Within the 3 looks, I try to do something really focusing on the warm shades in this palette. I did something focusing on the grungier greens, and then I also did something focusing on the brighter like colors in here so that you could see a bunch of different options that you could get out of this color story. I also have a first impression with live swatches of all the shadows already live, so I'll make sure to link that down below. But I was just so in love with this color story, I knew I had to go ahead and do a 3 looks video. If you are interested in purchasing anything from Beaute, I do have an affiliate code with them now. It's just AMYLOVES, and it saves you 10% off, I believe, from their website. But without any further ado, let's just go ahead and jump on in. So jumping on into the first look, I'm gonna start off with this shade right here called Khaki, and I'm just gonna put that through my entire crease. I thought I would just go ahead and do a bit of a warm look with this palette today and focus on the pops of like orange and this one, which is a little bit more golden, just to see what kind of look we can get out of it, which this shade I think is so pretty. Just kind of packing it on, and then whatever's left over, blending the edge really lightly with minimal pressure. I'm gonna go back into another layer of that just to make sure it's super opaque, but I feel like it's such a pretty mustard shade. Honestly, I could do like a 1 shadow look with this, or maybe just throw that in the crease and then throw something on the lid and be done. So pretty. I'm gonna wipe my brush off real quick and then just lightly go over the edge because I did bring that shadow up pretty high, and I just want to make sure it's all nice and soft. And then I'm gonna take the shade on the other side of my brush pretty heavily and just pack that along the lower lash line too. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and jump into this shade Safari, which I feel like perfectly matches my cardigan. And I'm just gonna pop that in the outer V. Just using a little bit of product to add a little bit of that color in. And then I'm also gonna go ahead and throw just a little bit of that along the lower lash line. Hopefully I wasn't out of frame because I keep doing that and I keep forgetting to stay in the middle of the camera. But I'm gonna go ahead and take just a touch of the shade Cave. Actually, you know what? We'll have time to play with Cave more later. I think I might just keep this look a little bit softer. So I'm gonna go ahead and go into National Park now. And I'm going to put that all over the front of my lid. I figured I'd start off with the brush just to see what it looks like. Such a pretty sparkly gold. I think it looks okay with the brush, but I'm sure it'll look even better with a finger. Let's try the other side. Oh yeah. But this is a bit more of a fluffy brush. Maybe I needed to use something more dense. It's so pretty. Very Natasha on a Gold palette vibes. At least out of this look. I got just a little bit of fallout. Lastly, I'm gonna take the shade Rainforest and pop that on my inner corner. So pretty. I might even take just a little bit of that on the front of my lid. I don't think you could see it that much. The gold is so opaque, the darker gold, that it kind of just blended in. Also gonna go ahead and take my little brush, and just to make the lower lash line cooler, I'm gonna take a bit more of Khaki and just pack that on right here. To finish up this look, I'm gonna go into the Colourpop gel liner in the shade Stomper, gonna throw that in my waterline, throw in some mascara, and I'll be right back. I'm grabbing the Heaven's Glow Faded Clementine blush from M Cosmetics just because I feel like this like really warm satiny sheen will go along well with the eye look. I feel like it looks so pretty. Ooh, I just went in with a lot. That was my bad. And then on top of that, I'm gonna go into the Natasha Nora Super Glow in the shade Fair 01. Just looks like this, just for a little bit of glow. And just kind of blending that back into the blush too. Definitely a heavy cheek moment. That was not what I meant to do, but I'm not mad at it. And then lastly, I'm gonna go into the Propa Beauty lipstick in the shade Finesse. Just her nice little nude. All right, y'all, my hair has a mind of its own today, but this is the finished look. First look, well, technically it's the second look I've done with the palette, but first look of this video. I hope that you enjoy it. I feel like it's definitely like a very staple, easy to do, more neutral look out of the palette, but I feel like the mustardy shades and everything, like it turned out so much prettier than I expected just because the tones are right. And the gold all over the lid is such a stunning sparkly gold. Like it's just, I feel like this palette is speaking to my heart. So let's go ahead and jump on into the second look. Okay, so today I'm feeling more of a soft green look. And then I think the next one that we do, I will go all out, just do the absolute most dramatic look I can out of this palette. But today I'm gonna start off with this shade right here called Palm Tree. So I'm just gonna go ahead and throw that through my entire crease. Starting off, laying it down, and then blending out when there's barely any product left on my brush. I've had a cold the last few days, so it's been a while since I did my makeup. I mean, I did something for like a foundation video, but I haven't done my eyeshadow in like a week, and I miss it a lot. So I'm very excited to be playing with some shadows today. I'm also gonna go ahead and take Palm Tree along my lower lash line, just grabbing a little bit and using it pretty generously to buff out right here and make it a little bit more dramatic. So following along with these kind of same vibes, I think next I'm gonna go into the shade Pickle. I hope this isn't too close to what I did in my first impression because I can't remember what shades I went with exactly. But just gonna throw that in my outer V, which is such a pretty grungy shade, and then whatever's left over I'll kind of just throw through my crease. And then again, just taking a touch of Pickle on the lower lash line, just about a third of the way. I think I'm also gonna go ahead and take a touch of Army, just taking it on a really small crease brush and throwing that. Okay, that's a little bit more green, a little less grungy like everything else. Let me just pop that on, not even blending in or anything. And I'm gonna go into just a touch of Cave, the black, over top, just to make that a little bit cooler, a little bit deeper. And then once I kind of have the shades there, I'll go ahead and just lightly blend it out. And again, just going with my bigger brush and making sure everything is nice and soft. I'm also grabbing just a tiny touch of Cave and popping that right on my lash line. Just adding a little extra depth. Now I'm gonna go ahead and take the shade Rainforest and I'm gonna use that all over my lid. I've only used that in the inner corner so far. I feel like it's so pretty. Okay, Fallout City. But it's worth it because look at that shade. It's funny because I was talking to Karen Harris about this palette and she was just saying like the shimmers were okay, but like she wasn't like overly impressed, and I'm just like, do you not see what I see? Because I feel like it's just so beautiful. I definitely have a ton of sparkly fallout, so I'm just gonna go ahead, use my brush and wipe that away. Man, my skin is not having its best moment right here. And then adding the sparkle on top and it wanting to stick. That's okay, I'm gonna fix it in just a moment, but last but not least, I think today I'm gonna go ahead and maybe use chartreuse. Chartreuse on the inner corner. Do love a chartreuse inner corner moment, so just go ahead and throw that right here. Maybe just add that to the lower lash line just a little bit. Off camera, I'm just gonna throw on some black liner, some mascara, and I'll be right back. For blush, I'm gonna go into the Alamar Colorete Blush Trio in the shade Fair Light, and I'm gonna use the shade Apricot Aura. Just throwing that on my cheekbones real quick for a little pop of warmth. And then for highlighter, I'm using the Beauty Bay Flash Highlight. Just kind of blending that back into the blush a little bit because it is very intense. And then to finish off, I'm gonna use the Lethal Cosmetics Lip Gloss in the shade Nova. Alright y'all, so this is the finished second look with the Tropical Vibes palette. I love how it turned out. I feel like it's such an easy, quick, but still grungy little moment. So I hope you enjoyed it. Now let's go ahead and jump into the third look. Alright y'all, I'm so excited for this look. Let's go ahead and start off with the shade Mango. So I'm just going to go ahead and pack that onto my inner corner. Not being too precise with it. And then kind of just blending up from there just a little bit. And I might take just a touch on the lower lash line too. Next I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Chartreuse. And I'm going to put that through my crease. Keeping it pretty high up. I really wanted to put these two shades next to each other just so you can see the difference pretty well. Because the Chartreuse definitely has a ton more green to it, even though they look kind of similar in the pan. Alright, so once I kind of have that built up how I want it, it's obviously not blended very well right now, so I'm just gonna kind of try and get some of the excess product off the brush on the outer portion here, and then just lightly blend up. And then I'm also gonna take a touch of Chartreuse along the lower lash line too. Next I'm gonna go ahead and take this shade Oahu, that like bright grungy green in the middle, and I'm going to put that through my crease just a little bit lower down than Chartreuse. Kind of adding some depth, but still keeping it nice and colorful. I'm also going to take that shade along the lower lash line, just connecting. Now I'm going to go ahead and take this green right here, Palawan, and I'm going to take that on a slightly smaller, tiny little blending brush and just start that off in my outer V. Just kind of laying it down right there for most of the depth, and then whatever's left over I'll bring into the crease. And then also just a little bit onto the lower lash line. Alright, once I have that mostly blended out, I'm just going to go into my previous blending brush and just go over the edge. And then I think for one last step, just to add a little tiny bit more depth to this, I'm also going to go ahead and take the shade Cave, just using a little tiny bit of that right on the outer V. And I'm not going to bring that through my crease, I'm just going to keep it right here. I'm just going to quickly wipe off that brush and then keep blending because I don't want to spread the black too far. Just want it to be right concentrated in my outer V. Looks so pretty. I mean, again, mattes are all blending so nice and easy. Now, of course, for my lid, I'm going to go ahead and take the shade Seychelles. I feel like I'm saying that wrong, but it's finally going to have its moment. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop that on the middle of my lid. And then just kind of blend it to the outer V. It's so pretty, so sparkly. Definitely, again, getting a bit of fallout, so that's just something to keep in mind with this metallic formula. It's beautiful, but it is a little messy. I'm mostly just keeping that, like I said, on the outer like 2/3 of the lid. And then I think just to add a little bit of like dimension to the look, I'm gonna go into the shade Rainforest, which is a favorite out of this palette, and then just pop that on the inner third and blend it in. Finish off this look, I'm going to go into the About Face Acidic Liner in my waterline, throw on some mascara, and I'll be right back. Alright, so for blush, I'm going to go into the Alamar Colorete Blush Trio in the shade Medium Tan, and I'm going to use this one right here called Peach Beach. I'm going to go ahead and throw that on. For highlighter, I'm just going to use Natasha Fair Super Glow Highlighter. Just going to throw a little bit of that on the tops of my cheekbones. And then for lips, I'm going to go into the It's Belle Lolly Gloss in the shade Mocha Pop. So this is the finished third look, and I love how it turned out. I feel like everything just blended so easily, and the shimmers look so pretty. Like just the texture, the sparkliness, the pigmentation, could not ask for more. So I feel like I have like tiny cons with this palette, but I'm just gonna go ahead and give you my thoughts so far. I would say overall, if you are a grungy green lover, I do recommend this color story, this palette. I just feel like it's so beautiful. There's so many different options and variants in here. It just makes me really happy because these are the kind of colors I like to gravitate towards. I've played with it a little bit off camera and done some mixing of using this and then like a very neutral palette, and then I'll just like add in just like a pop of green, and I really love this for that as well. I would say that the matte blend, super nice, super easy, very pigmented. I saw some people saying that they were having issues with the mattes, but I cannot speak to that. I've had nothing but good experiences with the new formula, but I will say that I've been using the ABH eye primer pretty much every single time that I've done my makeup. So in case you were curious, that's the primer that I've been using. And I do have drier eyes, but I have not had any problems with this formula. I don't find it to be like too dry or too thin or anything like that. The shimmers, I would say, are absolutely stunning. My only con with them is that they do have a little bit of fallout. They are a little bit messy, so you could go in with a glitter primer first, you could do your eyeshadow first, but I would just expect there to be a little bit of fallout. Even when I use my finger and I'm being very careful, I still get some flecks, but they do seem to wipe away relatively easy, so it's okay. I also wish that just one shade of this palette was taken out. I don't know what it is. Maybe the shade Safari, and I wish that there was one more shimmer that was like a true olive green metallic. I think that is what's really missing out of this palette, if there's one thing that I could pick at with the color story. But I would say overall, that's a very tiny con for me. I feel like this palette is perfection. I really love it. It's one of my favorite palettes I've tried in a long time. I feel like it's actually gotten me out of my like neutral rut a little bit. Like it's been making me want to do more colorful looks. So hopefully this is helpful. I've had no issues with how long it lasts. I've had no issues with like separating, fading, anything like that, but I don't really have those issues very often. I think that's about everything I have to say. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them down below. But overall, I'm a fan. I would give this palette an A+. Probably like a 98% if I had to rate it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.